in academics, security, cost control, and many other things, and didn't even raise our taxes. This board rewards them with a satisfactory evaluation. Let's do your board members didn't even vote for that particular evaluation. What do you think is like? This is totally disproportionate evaluation about the matter of you can speak to this point. For example, and these classroom teachers did a test much more than I can verbalize, but from the perspective of a citizen taxpayer, I was impressed with the Department of Education's school report cards for District 1. 10 of our schools were up 10 points over the previous year. The graduation rate increased. Language arts and math scores were up. African American grades 3 through 7 in language arts to the highest, with a 12% increase. And you evaluate these accomplishments as satisfactory. Advanced placement student participation grew from 188 to 395 in 1 year, 110% increase. African American students in AP increased by 292%. The rigorous IB program participated at a 12% increase in the high school. African American students increased overall by 52%, 12% in high school. You rate these results as just satisfactory? All this is just one year of a 3-year strategic plan. Imagine the improvements. 4 years, if you just get out of his way and let him and our teachers get the job done. In fact, his vision and leadership skills make him the best superintendent I've associated with in 40 years in Florence. I know some of you. I know some of you are personally supportive, but all of you are getting painted with the same brush of negativity from only just a few people. It's hard to make a point in 3 minutes, and it's just difficult. But my sincere plea to you is, please quit bickering and focus on the big picture, please. And focus on the strategic plan.
Stop bickering and do your job.
Thank you. Anyway, focus on the strategic plan of giving our children a first-class education in District 1. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Good evening. I'm here tonight as part of the silent majority who supports Dr. O'Malley and the direction he's leading the district in. I believe it's imperative that we as a community demand transparency amongst this board, and we begin to start holding you to higher standards. 3 board members held a press conference at the Career Center on January 23rd. These board members singled out Dr. O'Malley and seemed to imply that he and other board members attempted to add an action item to the agenda without any discussion with the public for each other. One of these board members also spoke to WNBF News on January 15, 2020, and stated the following, quote, is listed as an action item, which is a section of the meeting reserved for votes. He also went on to say the school has been in operation for at least 6 decades, said he has not been involved in any discussion on that matter, end quote. Let's first start with being honest to the public, since you do represent our community. There is only 2 times that items are required to be presented as a first reading, with the second meeting following to move it to an action item. These 2 instances are when it pertains to the budget or policies. Board members know this is the case. We need to stop trying to play people in the community who may not know better. One of your jobs as a board member is to bridge the community as one, not divide. These same 3 board members have made comments about being in the dark with O'Malley, meeting with FDTC regarding the Career Center to put together a memorandum of agreement. Let's be clear and honest to the public, since we all deserve that. All of you were included on the email that Dr. O'Malley sent on Monday, January 14, 2020 at 8:53 a.m. Here's a copy of what each of you received. Quote, "The agenda was posted yesterday, and there are a few action items that are important to review. If anyone would like to speak with me individually to review the items and the attachments over the next 2 days, I would be more than willing to meet with you to review these and answer any questions you may have. Please email me directly as Kim is out of the office the next few days. Thank you." End quote. All but 3 of you chose to set up a time with O'Malley to discuss this action item and have your questions and concerns addressed. 3 of you decided it would benefit your agenda of dividing this community even more and chose not to meet with him. 1 of you also received a text message from O'Malley on Wednesday, January 16th at 6:44 p.m., and you responded on Thursday, January 17th at 8:45 a.m. Here's what the text message exchange said. From Dr. O'Malley, quote, "I know you've been busy and probably haven't had time to check your email, but if you want to talk about items on the agenda for tomorrow, let me know. Thanks." End quote. Board member response, quote, "Sorry, Mr. Text, had to be on the road early this morning. I spoke with Tricia yesterday and she got me up to speed. Thanks." End quote. I think it's time to stop the partisan games, the grandstanding, the lies, and do what you have been voted in office to do. I have brought copies of the emails, text message for each of you to review, in case some of you have developed amnesia since January 14th. I have also brought each of you a copy of Board Member Code of Ethics for you to review. In this Code of Ethics, it discusses always thinking in terms of children first and maintain desirable relationships with the superintendent of schools and his or her staff. End quote.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, superintendent. I'm here tonight as a parent of 2 children in the district. I'm a 20-year employee and also the husband of a 20-year employee. Over those 20 years, I've worked for 5 superintendents and 2 interims, which is a lot. For the first time in a long time, the district has a vision, and not merely a satisfactory one, but an exemplary one. We finally know where we're going, and we do know where we've been. And where we've been is not where we need to be. Gone are the days when one side of town is getting everything, or at least that perception. Gone are the days where students with special needs are put at the back. All students are up front, which is where they need to be. All students are given the same opportunities, which is where they should be. Because of the vision, we finally have personnel and programs to ensure that IEPs, and we are in compliance with federal programs more than we've ever been, because of this vision. We finally have equipment that we need for all children. We have sensory rooms. We have adaptive playground equipment that children with special needs can participate with all students. We've needed that for years. For a long time, we've been a district that's always been behind. For the first time that I can think of, teachers have gotten raises. We've never been behind in what teachers need. I can't think of a single thing that teachers are without. Dr. O'Malley is a superintendent that puts students first and teachers first. For a long time, we've been a district that other districts look at. Finally, we're becoming a district that other districts look to. I, for one, think if you will support this vision, if the community board members will support this vision, we can all be proud of the district that we're in. And I, for one, am tired of being looked at, but we need to be looked to. And the time is now. Thank you.
Good evening. I just wanted to come here. I'm a parent of 3 kids in the school district. My wife is a teacher in the school district. I'll be honest, I was not a fan of Florence District 1 until Dr. O'Malley came in as superintendent. Florence 1 was stagnant years behind other school districts in both academic and extracurricular activities. I did not want my children to go through the district because I knew that there was much better opportunities in other parts of our state, and our family was seriously looking at moving out of Florence for those better opportunities. Because of Dr. O'Malley, my mindset has changed. I want to thank him for not letting grass grow under his feet in the short amount of time he has been here. He works harder and is more involved in the schools than any superintendent Florence 1 has, at least in my lifetime. One result of the dedication of our students is to improve our test scores, and he did that just in his first year. He has had the gumption to move forward on the middle school concept and addressing many issues that were identified years ago when nobody else would. Dr. O'Malley is innovative and an absolute mastermind when it comes to budgeting. He has been able to make so many changes in academics, physicals of buildings, personnel without increasing taxes, not even 1 red cent. I have heard board members question the budget and what is going on with money, and he has never hesitated in having his numbers ready and prepared. I do not understand how long-standing members on the board are aware of where our school money goes, especially when it's something that's open to the public. But that's another issue for another night. Florence 1 schools are progressing, and it's because of what Dr. O'Malley has brought to the table, despite the hostility that he has to deal with day in and day out. Thank you, Dr. O'Malley, for what you have done for our district, community, and my family. Thank you for the board members who support Dr. O'Malley by truly listening to his ideas and striving to understand that what he wants is what is going to put our students first. Thank you for standing up for our students, working to move our district out of the standstill it has been in for so long. Our district's motto is students first. It is not teachers first, cafeteria workers first, janitors first, assistants first, district staff, or even administrators or board members first. It is students first. All these people are very important with every aspect of their job, but they should not come at the expense of our children. Our district's top priority is and will always be to protect, educate, and prepare our students for life beyond our school walls, about everything else. Those students include the athletes, band, course members, special education students, gifted and talented students, the average Joes, the college-bound, and the non-college-bound students. It includes our preschoolers and elementary school students. It includes every student that is enrolled at Florence 1 school. It has become obvious that students first is not why some of our board members are on the board. The one aspect that should derive every decision made is the fact that either does it or does it not put our students first. And it is blatantly obvious that many times this is not the filter that some of the board members look through. It seems as though some decisions are made to rally the crowd or for their own benefit to re-election. Thank you, Dr. O'Malley, for everything you have done for my family, for District 1, and for the teachers and staff of District 1.
I'm a mother of 2 Florence 1 students. My oldest is in the IB program at Wilson, and my youngest is a 7th grader at Southside. My great-grandfather, my grandfather, and my dad were all educators here in Florence 1 on the south side of town. My great-grandfather was a principal, and so was my grandfather. I come here tonight to speak to you about a serious disservice that I see as a family of a former educator. The disservice that's being done to our superintendent. And I tell you why I think it's time for you to change how you're conducting business. In November of 2018, I watched as each of you, with the exception of David Gregg and Artie Buxton, voted unanimously to send a referendum to the public. I trusted you as my representatives to know what this district needed, where we needed it, how we needed it, and what we needed. I trusted you to have done the research. And I trusted you when I stood up and supported you and believed in what you put forward. I agreed to get out there and positively support it. I said, you know, if you think that's what we need, I trust you. And I did it. I sat down with several of you. I sat down with our legislative delegation. I sat down with many and and learned about the financial limitations. I talked about the federal laws, the state laws that were causing problems in our district. And to that point, I went and developed a coalition of friends and family and local business people and parents that also agreed that we would support you. We developed a group that supported what you unanimously sent. As we moved into the public portions of the debating the referendum, it was like you all disappeared. And I understand there is a law that says you can't support or come out against a referendum, but there was no rule saying that you couldn't answer basic questions and answer the questions of the public and answer my questions. Instead, you threw Dr. O'Malley and I and the rest of the students' first group that was put together under the bus, and you didn't answer the questions that needed to be answered by the public. The only person in the public that answered the questions was Rich O'Malley. He got up there and answered your questions, and he defended you at every turn. But that man right there had no vote in sending that referendum to the table. He was brand new. He hadn't been here but 6 months at that point. What you did to him was completely unfair. When it came time to throw somebody under the bus, he was the one you threw. And after the referendum failed, I quietly sat back for a year and waited for you to ask me what went wrong, and none of you did.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Sharice Thayer. I am the reading coach at Savannah Grove. Thank you to those of you who have been out to read to artists. They talk about you guys all the time. But I just wanted to talk about change. Change is scary. It's the thing that I'm scared of more than anything in my entire life. So obviously all that's gone on in the last year and a half has terrified me, as it has many people in our district. But I want to talk to you about what that change has done in our school. We have gotten so many new curriculum resources, the training, the materials, and the support along the way paid for by the district. Before, if we wanted that, we had to go pay for it out of pocket and go travel somewhere and take the days off to get it, and then buy the materials there. So thank you for that. This morning, I read with a second grader. At the beginning of the year, he could not read. He made it to second grade not being able to read. This morning when I read with him, he sounded the words out and he read them. He did it the way that they teach it in the Orton Dillingham class that he's in every morning. The one that y'all have provided for our students. And all of our teachers and all of our assistants, K through 3, have been trained in and have the materials for, with nothing from us. It's all been provided by the districts. That's one example of about 400 kids that are going through that program. So I can only imagine the number of students that are now able to read in kindergarten and first grade, second grade, and third grade that wouldn't have been able to read by the time they hit high school without something like this. Lexia is another program that was brought to us. It's a blended learning curriculum. It's got the teacher part, it's got the computer part, and students are able to level up. We have given out almost 2,000 certificates. They get a certificate every time they level up, and along with each certificate, they also get a book to add to their home classroom library, which is something that many of our students don't have. That wouldn't be possible without what you guys have provided. Finally, the LLI training, and this is my last one. The LLI training that's gone on this year, all of our teachers that we wanted trained are getting trained, and I've had more teachers come back to me and say, Sharice, I remember why I wanted to teach. I wanted to see kids learn to read. I was excited about teaching again. Were we completely overwhelmed at the beginning of the year? You better believe it. Were people ready to quit and throw their hat in? Absolutely. But when letter of intents went out, everybody's still there. And they're getting excited again because their kids are learning. And the kids are excited because they're learning. Thank you.
I like to confess my eyesight isn't what it used to be, and my handwriting is the worst in the world. But if I get the name wrong, my apologies. James Leslie Hannah, it's 556 Hickory Grove Circle. Did I say that right?
Just want to say good evening. For those that don't know me, my name is James Hannah, and I graduated last year from Wilson High School by my green and gold shirt. Because of my time in the IB program, I'd like to say I'm a full semester ahead of all my peers, and I'm a sophomore at the Honors College of Francis Marion. I can attribute my personal success to my time in IB, and I think it would do the district much more of a service to advertise the program more, which would cause more people to become attracted to the area. My father turned down a large promotion opportunity just because the area we were supposed to move to didn't have an IB program. Next, I want to comment on the additions and renovations made to the schools both during my time as a student and what I've seen afterwards. The new gyms look fantastic. The fields outside of the schools look fantastic. I have a cousin from Charlotte, North Carolina, who's a West Florence alumni who drove almost 120 miles just to come see a home football game for a team for a school he hasn't been to in almost 30 years. And then I just want to comment on the use of Memorial Stadium. I'm glad to see the slow change to move away from it. I think it's runs course. I think it's a good stadium. I love watching the football games there. It's time to move past it. And then I don't have much to say, but I just want to close with this. For the members of the board, you can't see the amazing things Dr. O'Malley's doing for the district. It's only because they're refusing to do so. Take heed. Don't let this great man slip away from you. He's the greatest thing to happen in this district in years, speaking as a student. Don't get in the way of the work, progress. Work together. Work as partners, not rivals. It's time for dramas. Let's move past it. The future of the students, the teachers, the schools, and the district as a whole depend on you. Don't let the people you represent down. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Shannon McGurn. I'm here tonight along with Minnie and Green because our children's savviness, progressive vision, and data-supported results appeal not only to you, it appealed to our community. For a moment, there was collective optimism. That is, until some of you reverted back to selfish ambition and personal agendas. These individuals serve themselves and hinder the board's productivity, and our children suffer. When you lack vision, you lack structure. As the chairman shared October 3rd, state law mandates annual board visits to each school. Principals work tirelessly in preparation of these visits, and some board members fail to acknowledge that they won't appear, and fail to reschedule. I'd like to formally request documentation of each board member's compliance with the mandate. The fact is, there are some board members here tonight that have filled a seat longer than my child will be in Florence One schools. They continue to make decisions affecting our children and our schools, yet they're absent. Time clearly isn't a factor as evidenced by these meetings. If board members can't fulfill their duties, let's give the seat to someone who will. As a board, you're to practice accountability, objectively evaluate not only the superintendent but yourselves. The latest evaluation of our superintendent is further proof that some of you are not fulfilling your duties to all students. Under Dr. O'Malley's leadership last year, our district gained one-to-one technology, a McLeod partnership, the highest Wilson graduation rate in 5 years, one below average school that was 27 thousandths of a point from being average after half of our schools were below average and unsatisfactory the year prior. And a faction of this board has no confidence in that kind of leadership? Looking at board policy, how might a few of you be evaluated? Board member conduct.
My name is Cindy Wood, and I am a proud alumni of Florence School District 1. I went to school here from kindergarten through 12th grade at Timrod, Williams, and Wilson. My mother was a 35-year teacher in this district. My children are in this district being educated, and I'm an employee of this district. There are a lot of things that are great about this district, and people don't see that because of the negativity that we have often in the news. I've spent a lot of time as an educator in some of the lowest performing schools in our state. Through the Department of Education, I worked in Timminsville, Williamsburg, and Lee County, helping those school districts become better and improve their test scores. We have so much more to offer and so many more programs and teachers who are willing to help than some of those districts do. I've also lived in Florida, and we lived, and my children were educated for a time in the #1 school district in Florida. Their test scores are test scores we will see under the direction of Dr. O'Malley. I want to say this because, and I had planned to speak, then I decided everybody kind of said what I wanted to say, but I can't sit back without saying, we have great teachers. As a parent with my children in school, we have great teachers. The only thing standing between them and the best thing for our children is some of the members of the board. Our teachers, our schools, our community, me as a parent, and all the parents that are in this room, we need the support of everyone on this board to help us be the best that we can be. I'm proud as an employee and a parent and an alumni to be in this crowd of so many people who want to support the schools and who want to put kids first. I am begging you to put kids first. This is a quote that I often hold myself accountable to. Often the greater our ignorance about something, the greater the resistance for change. Our kids do not deserve ignorance. We need to be knowledgeable. We need to vote on knowledge. We need to not be scared of change and not be resistant. Please consider that as you think about the things that we do and as you think about our support for our superintendent who has started this vision and has the ability to carry it through. Thank you.
When I saw that quote come across my timeline, I saved it. After reading about the state of our district and reflecting on mindsets of people in our community, I decided to share a thought. My post went like this. Someone shared a memory that back in 2016, the plan for pointer renovations were revealed, and 2018 should have seen those doors open to a new type of facility. Here we are, 4 years later, and nothing yet. Many are griping about sudden change, but what about the stagnant phase that we have been in? Our district hadn't lacked for money, to my knowledge, but what was being visibly done for our students and building upgrades along the way? Many are upset about changing, but when is the change going to happen? Consider how long many of our board members have held in office and what they have helped contribute to the forward progression of our district. I don't know our superintendent well enough to dislike him. What I do know is that when Dr. Bridges tried to bring about change, our communities didn't embrace them. The board gave him a hard time and quit. Dr. Brooks was interim for a while. The board tied his hands for making progressive changes. Now, Dr. O'Malley wants to make changes, and the board and members of various communities and groups are making his life difficult. What is the common denominator of these three superintendents? The board. Since many of them have been there for years, they should have the answers they claim not to know. If not him to make changes, then who? If not now, then when? This community needs to do better by its children. We owe it to our old age to produce well-prepared, career-ready young adults that will become our nurses, our doctors or architects, chefs or seamstresses. Only with change will growth happen. I stand here as a 24-year veteran of this district, a mom of 6 Florence 1 graduates, and a grandmother of 4, 2 of which are currently enrolled. I stand here for change and forward movement for my grandbabies and for the children of this city. Thank you.
Thank you. My name is Linda Cannon. Luke 16:10 says, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much." Now, I realize everybody in this room doesn't use the Word of God to make their decisions, but I try. In the interest of being honest, I don't always do a great job of it, but that is what I use to try to make my decisions. As all of you know, we voted down the referendum. I'm going to be honest. I voted no. And given the same circumstances, I would vote no again. But the circumstances are not the same. And they are due to this man sitting here, Dr. Richard O'Malley. Dr. O'Malley, I want to say, despite the fact that I found out today you're a Clemson graduate, my vote is slowly turning to yes. Now, I've got a list here of things that I was going to go over that Dr. O'Malley has done for us, but all of them have already been said. So I'm not, in the interest of time, I'm not going to go through them again, but this man has done wonders. In 1 year, he has done wonders. And he has done it with the money at hand. He has done it efficiently, and he has done it honestly. I could go on and on and on, but I urge you to do the research yourself. One way to do this is to go to YouTube and search F1S 2018 to 2019, year in review. Now is not the time for hearsay or histrionics. Now is the time for us to all band together, all of us, for the good not only of our students but of our town. I'm a grandmother. I do not have children in Florence District or District 1. But I care about our town. And when somebody wants to move into Florence, the first thing they're going to say is, how are our schools? I believe with this man right here, pretty soon we'll be able to say, our schools are great. And that's what I want for Florence District 1. This is the best person you have hired in many, many years. So please, I beg you to support him.
Thank you. The next recognize Robert Lemaster.
Short. Good evening, Board. First off, I want to thank each of you for serving. I think sometimes we forget it's tough on y'all. It's a big demand on the time, it's a big demand on your family. So thank you for taking time to do that. Also, thank you for being wise enough to unanimously hire Dr. O'Malley last minute. His performance has been exceptional. And I could stand here and read all the accolades of all the things we've accomplished in the last year, but we've obviously heard all of that. So I'm going to skip forward to the reasons why
I'm not here to support Dr. O'Malley. It's not because he's intelligent. It's not because of all his accomplishments. It's not because he's great with finances or even he's a fellow Tiger. It's because he has the same priority that I do. Boys, would you stand up? That. He has the same priorities I do. And it's not about serving the public, it's not about the community, it's not about taxpayers, it's about serving our children. He views everything through the prism of what is good for our kids. And I see it each and every day. I see it each month with the decisions that he makes, with the suggestions that he brings. And that's where I want to spend a little time talking about that. Change is difficult. We all know that. I had a pastor that came to our church about 5 years ago, and he said something that stuck with me, which is you go to a wedding and you see this beautiful wedding cake for everybody to celebrate, that momentous occasion where people cut their wedding cake for the first time. What you don't see is when you walk into the room where the guy's making the cake the week before the wedding, where there's flour everywhere, there's eggs on the floor, there's probably a lot of ugly words being said. Change is difficult, but you cannot get to the result of something good without embracing the mess that comes with change. And so that's what I'm here to talk about. And in this room, this is what positive, inspirational change looks like. In case you needed a definition, you can just snap a pic. This is why people feel compelled to come out and let their voices be heard, is because, just like me, they're happy. For the first time in a long time, they have hope that their kids will have something better than what I had when I graduated from South Florence in 1993, in the same building that still sits there. Same mobile units that still sit there. I'm tired of seeing the same old, same old. We're all tired of that. And for the first time in a long time, we're all excited about the change that can happen in our community and in our district. And that's why we want you to continue to support Rich with what he's doing, because we believe in that. It's our obligation to do all we can for our kids. They don't have choices like we all do, to pick up and go where they want, do what they want. They're at our mercy to make decisions for them. So I would tell y'all and ask you, please, take that seriously. Consider your choices. Make our kids the priority of what we do each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Next person now is William Walker.
Thank you. I'm William Walker. I am currently a sophomore at Wilson High School, and I believe that I would have firsthand knowledge of everything that's been going on in the school district. I don't have a lot to say, but I'd like to thank you, Dr. O'Malley, for all that you've done in your time as superintendent. Now I feel like there's an environment where I'm encouraged to be involved. Here I am standing at a board meeting saying what I've written down as a sophomore in 10th grade, and I'm glad that I'm able to be involved. I feel like I'm being represented and that I can say what I want to. Some of you might recognize me. I was on the Student Facilities Committee that presented last year and said some of the problems that were going on in some of the elementary schools, and they've been answered. I was specifically on the group of people that were to talk about the problems that were going on with Greenwood, and now they're breaking ground for the gym, and that is just incredible. So I'm glad the way that our district is going, and I feel like I can make a difference, and that is the hugest thing for me. Thank you for all the work you've done. I didn't end up reading most of this, but I think I said it myself.
I'm going to read it to stay on track. While there are many differing opinions about the state of Florence 1 schools, I decided to do some research and share actual facts tonight. Academically, the level of instruction has increased, creating excellent student growth as noted by our state test scores. In 2018, more than 50% of our schools were ranked unsatisfactory or below average. In 2019, only one school was below, and by just 0.027 points. That's pretty impressive. 10 schools improved their overall rating by 10 or more points. 5 schools grew 3 levels in the student progress indicator, 4 grew 2 levels, and 7 grew 1 level in academic achievement, with no schools having negative growth in this area. Timrod and Wallace Grove, both of which have poverty rates, between 90 and 91%. These schools both saw grade improvements in at least 3 of the 4 grades that they measured. 3 schools were recognized for Palmetto Award. Our high schools averaged 80.1 to 85% graduation rates. That's higher than the state average. Wilson saw its highest graduation rate in 5 years. That is not satisfactory. That is exemplary. We now have the technology and resources to compete and prepare our children for the future. Technology is what is needed to be successful. We no longer live in a world that uses paper and pens for everything, so to hold these advantages back from our students does them a disservice. I have a quote from an administrator within the district. When it comes to academics, there are no barriers that Dr. O'Malley isn't willing to overcome to provide not only necessary tools, but ones that engage our students on multiple levels of learning. We know we're 100% supported when it comes to providing the best academic classes, tools, and curriculum for the students and teachers. I don't think our district administrators have heard that in a while or been able to say that. As for athletics, whether you agree or not, I am here to tell you that athletics is an important part of high school for so many kids. If every current athlete who benefits from the ability to play a sport came up tonight and gave a testimonial, we would definitely be here till next week. So many kids use athletics as their step up to a successful future. These teams are their family, their support system, and their saving grace. Athletics and the new stadiums have been a point of contention. As an active member of the athletics at West Lawrence, I can tell you firsthand, we need these upgrades. It should not be a privilege to have a home field. It should have been done years ago. The community voted down their first proposal, so a new solution that works for all schools without raising taxes or taking money from other programs was created and approved by the majority of the board. Thank you for that. The changes, improvements, and advances that have occurred over the past 18 months would not have been possible if it weren't for the leadership of Dr. O'Malley. Thank you.
Thank you. Sheriff Chapman.
Point of order, that's not my wife.
Hey, I'm Erica Chapman. I have 4 children in the district. And I do agree that we're all supposed to be here and we're all supposed to have our focus on students being first. Now, for my 3 oldest children, I have had that experience. But for the 14 years that my kids have been in school, for my youngest child, I have not had that experience. Our youngest child has severe intellectual disabilities, and she's in a wonderful classroom, but for the 14 years previously, she has had an okay education, but much of her experience has been kind of an afterthought. And for the first time, I see that she is one of the students that is being put first. And that is life-changing, not only for her, but for our family. Dr. O'Malley has brought about so many significant changes in many ways in the district, but particularly in our programs for exceptional children. Some of them are, we used to not be in compliance. Our IEPs often were not in compliance, and we were in trouble with the State Department at times, unfortunately. He has brought 11 new positions to the Exceptional Education Department: compliance monitors, supervisors for both the elementary schools and for the high school and middle school. He has brought about change that has brought us the ability to be in compliance, to write IEPs that meet the standards for the state. But more importantly, they do what's right for our kids. He has brought inclusive playground equipment to 3 of our elementary schools. One is my daughter's school, so that means she's in a wheelchair. She can actually go on the playground and interact with other children instead of always being inside and not having that opportunity. How fun is it to go through 5th grade and not be able to go on the playground? That's not fair. He's changing that. He has brought inclusion training to our district. In case you didn't know, we're 49th state in the nation, and that includes, unfortunately, in our exceptional education. And he's bringing us into the 21st century. I was at a training today with a lot of teachers that are getting inclusion training. That means instead of our special ed kids or exceptional ed kids always just being in separate classrooms, we are bringing our kids together. We learn from each other. They can learn in a regular ed classroom as well. He has instituted a parent advisory board for our exceptional education. That means we have parents that have a say, they have a voice, they can create change. He has, we have 3 new sensory rooms. These are amazing, state-of-the-art rooms that I honestly don't even know another school in the southeast that has a room like this, and we have 3 of them now. He has brought autism programs to Sneed and West for our high-functioning students that have autism, that are on the autism spectrum, but that also are getting a diploma and that just need a safe space. To finalize very quickly, there's a 9th grader at Wilson that has autism that asked me to read this. I don't very much enjoy being involved in the politics of education, but it frustrates me that this argument is occurring. Dr. O'Malley has done such good for our school district. He's moved forward on several projects that lay stagnant for years, and there's been a noticeable improvement to my experience as a student. He even took time to meet with me personally when I had concerns about things, and I found him to be a reasonable and mindful person. I would encourage your continued support of Dr. O'Malley. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm short. My name is Shauna, and I am the face of a mom to 4 children who have been brought up in this district. One of them is now a special ed teacher in this district upon graduating from West Florence High School and Baylor University. Go Bears. I'd like to ask you, if you will, to think about what our children's educational career looks like over the span of 13 years from kindergarten to that wonderful, glorious day when they walk across the stage earning their diplomas. A tool that helps us as parents measure the areas of success versus needing improvement is Power School. I have to tell you, I'm a fan of Power School because it helps me as the mom keep short accounts of my child's academic progress. It's a tool for accountability, and I like that. Our son Jude is a 7th grader at Sneed. I appreciate that his teachers take the time to input his grades on a regular basis. He is weighed and measured according to what he earns and the effort he gives to that subject matter. At the end of the day, what Jude earns is up to him, and his grades are a 100% reflection of that effort. Now, if his 7th grade teachers, input a grade that reflected what a 12th grader should know, he would be found lacking because he's only in the 7th grade and can only implement what he's learned thus far. While we can predict that Jude is on a good course for the next semester and years to come, we can only really grade him on what he's been taught and is executing as a 7th grader. My point is this: if Dr. O'Malley had a Power School account, he would have earned all A's. For his years serving as our superintendent. He's a mom who's so passionate about this school. He can only be graded, Dr. O'Malley, if you will, on what he has delivered, and let me tell you, Dr. O'Malley has delivered for us in Florence. We have safer schools, structurally stronger schools, improved test scores, school pride, and because of this good record and progress in such a very short amount of time, which, by the way, has surpassed every other previous superintendent's accomplishments I've known over the past 19 years as a Florence 1 mom. We can have faith that under his continued leadership,
district. And then I just want to ask you, Lord, if not him, then who? Change and different ways of thinking are never easy, but I beg of you, please, can we set a tone to focus on the positive under his leadership and continue to look for ways to grow and improve? Our children are watching and listening to us. Don't we teach our children the golden rule? Don't we tell our children to give their best shot, and shouldn't we lead by example? It's our God-given responsibility to give them a solid education so they can successfully lead the way for the next generation. Our principals believe this, our teachers believe this, we need our school board to believe this, and to set aside differences, small-minded behavior, and make them as one. And if you cannot do this, with all due respect, would you please reflect on what motivates you to serve for the betterment of our children, and even would you consider removing yourself from the board to permit an open to be a true champion for our children's school district and community? Thank you.
God be the glory. To God be the praise. I think that it is a good thing for us to appreciate everything good that happens in our district. But I think it's a mistake for us not to acknowledge the other things that happens in our district. I got a call today from a parent who has a special needs students at one of our schools, and that child had formerly been an A student. Now they're failing 2 grades. They've come before the administration and asked for homeschooling twice and been denied. So with all of the accolades that are going towards special needs, all is not well. There are food service, former food service workers in our district whose lives have been turned upside down by decisions that were made that were not sensitive to what our community is and should be about. We talk about the things that are available and how I heard a lot of people talking about IB, but let's get real. IB sits in one community, and less than 1% of the population there are advantaged by it. And now that we have actually eliminated minority to majority transfers, those students that are not at that school can come over there, but the students there can't go anywhere else. So what if there's something somewhere else that they wanted to take? Is that inclusive? Is that what we're talking about, that we support and we applaud so as a school district? There's confusion for me because I hear F1S, and then I hear FSD1. What is the legal name for our district? I'd like to know. It's my understanding that the legal name is still FSD1. But that's another thing that we seem to, when we get polarized, we seem to lose sight of some of the crucial facts. Gets to where really facts doesn't really matter a whole lot. There was another parent that called me today about a special needs child who made a statement to counselors that he was going to harm principal and assistant principal, one of our middle schools. And That same day, he choked out another student. And nothing has been done. That parent that called me was concerned because he feels like that child represents a threat and is crying out for help that has not been addressed. He got 1 day, from what I understand, out of school suspension, and then we'll put right back into school with that administrator, those two administrators, without them having even been told that they were under that. I have been given an additional time back.
Nobody else can do it.
My name is Howard Wills. I am a 40-year retired educator with Florence School District 1, and all of this time was spent in career and technical education. I realize there's a lot of accolades, and I may be one of the black sheep of the family today. But I am here for a group of students that many times are left behind. Every student is not college material. But every student should be able to make a living. Our Career Center here was opened in 1968. The building is old, but it's pretty much updated. Our superintendent was here for a year, never been into the building except, to tour the building. He did go to 2 classrooms, I understand. I represent the community representative for the director of the school. The previous 2 board meetings before, if you saw the agenda, on the agenda was to close the Florence Career Center. Well, I was at the Career Center today that the director received this message from Dr. O'Malley that we are closing you down. She asked about the students. Of course, he explained that. And what about the employees? And they can go back to the job market. Many of these are very good teachers. The Career Center's graduation rate of seniors is 96%. So 96% of the students that complete a major at the Career Center have positive placement. Our placement rate is 97%. That means the students have 3 positive placements. They can go to the workforce directly, go to post-secondary education, or they can go into the military. To close this school, you get to go. Florence Vision 1 vision. The first thing we talked about was exemplary community engagement. I talked to all the board members except one, and I understand that the board, with the exception of a few people, did not know anything about the closing. The director knew about it on Tuesday, and the board meeting to close it was on Thursday. Now, most of you, a lot of you teachers in here, I know your faces, because I've been retired now for 6 years. To send these, and his recommendation, of course, is to send these students to Florence College and Tech. I understand that the system was to be watered down for these students to go. Let me read you the state regulation. Each student in mid,
As well, we just want to continue that with the things that we were presenting. Board members are being asked to meet one-on-one with the administration. And we understand that not only is that illegal, but that's unethical. You're doing the people's business. It ought to be done right in the boardroom, in front of the people. I'm delighted that we have so many out tonight. Probably should be this way all the time. But over the last 30 years, the only time I've seen this kind of crowd is when they just trouble. That said, the only time we get enthused about supporting education is when there's a problem. I see on the agenda tonight, as an action item, the approval of policies. I'm wondering if those are present policies, new policies, or what are they? They have not been on the agenda before for discussion. I hadn't heard any discussion in regards to them. It's kind of interesting that we have gone away from even following policy, good policy procedures, and all of those kinds of things. We have asked about mold at Williams since the beginning of the school year. We got a letter from the administration saying that it was being investigated. How long does it take to find out if there's mold in the building? I wonder how much celebration there would be if it were your child going to a school with mold infested. These and other things are things that we as parents, grandparents, and as supporters of this district need to be genuinely concerned about getting the answers to. I'm not going to go on, but there are a number of things that we really need to address as a community if, in fact, we're going to have the kind of system that all of us and our children deserve. Thank you.
Next person, Doreen Jennings.
Greetings to all. My name is Doreen Jones. I am an employee at the Florence Career Center. I'm also a bus driver as well. There's a whole lot of things that we have discussed at every meeting in the past. But there's a few things that I want to ask, question I'm going to ask. There's been some discrepancies about some things going on. I just want to know if the Florence Career Center is going to still be open for the next school term. Oh, excuse me? Oh, okay, all right. So anyway, get on the at Career Center. You were right in, right? My name is Doreen Jones. I work for your program. I am a transitional assistant for the CDT program.
Ms. Jones, would you speak this way, please?
Yes. And another concern I have with completing both of my jobs, I can build a house if I have the tools. We don't have adequate tools I don't have adequate tools to do my job. A part of my job is transition assistant, taking kids to job sites, training them. But our program don't have a bus at all. We have 4 transitional assistants, 0 bus to transport kids. I also drive an IB route in the evening time. And that is a district program. Now we have the state buses and the district buses. We don't have adequate district buses for the IB kids. I've been driving a spare bus all the school ever since last year. My bus, I did a double route today. It rains on the inside, don't have adequate heat, seats are torn, no air conditioning at all. And if we put the students first, this space the students see right here, first and foremost in the morning, and the last space that the students see in the evening time. They have questions for me, so I have questions for you all that I want to give them the answers to. And if we put students first, what about in welfare, safety, and security? These buses are not safe. The few buses they have, and we don't have enough drivers, not enough buses. And even whether your child ride a bus or not, they might ride for a field trip. So, wouldn't you like for your child to be transported safely? Air conditioning when it's hot, heat when it's cold. We don't have that on those buses. We don't have any buses for Brian Gang. Can we please get buses for our program? I asked Dr. O'Malley, I've asked everybody, I've asked the supervisors. We don't have any buses to do our program with. So I'm asking you, could you please check in? Is there anything y'all can do? Anything that I can do? Let me know. Could we please check in on getting buses to transport our kids, safe buses, to take care of our children?
Children riding death traps. I risk my life every day with your children. It's sad. So sad.
Good evening, board. Good evening, community members who care about our students. Isn't that why you're here? I mean, go ahead, let's have some public participation. You're not speaking. Raise your hand if you're here for children, for students. Board members, raise your hand if you're here. You do what you do for students. I'm just noting who's raising their hand. All right, yay! We just did it. We just agreed on something simple.
She asked a question, and y'all let her ask her question, but y'all
Thank you for your service, and actually to you, the bus driver. Thank you. It's Bus Driver Appreciation Week. My children do ride the bus, and it is a gift to me as a working mother that my children have that opportunity. And yes, we need better buses, and we need every classroom to not have mold in it. And we need every student, whether they're special ed, or IB, or AP, or all those beautiful children in between, have their needs met. All of them. Equity. My children are very fortunate. They go to Royal, a beautiful new school with leadership that has been dedicated for decades. They're blessed. I realize that. But I stand up here for the children who don't go to Royal and who do have mold in the classrooms. But you know what, guys? It takes time. It takes money. We didn't give him that. So it's going to take time. The other thing it's going to take is us as a community coming together, crossing lines, seeding hope versus nitpicking. My child will be in the first class to go as 6th graders to Sneed, and that is scary as a mom. For my child to be beautiful Royal to go to Sneed as a 6th grader, but guess what? We're going to do it because that's progress. And I look at every one of my peers and say, put your big girl panties on and tell your house to be ready because we have to stand up for the As a board, I ask that you work together in public and in private. And when you agree on something in private, you come out and you stand united for it. Amen. You stand united for not just your one small constituency, but for our community. And I extend a great thank you to Artie Buxton for a wonderful, honest, long phone call. I sent an email, and then he called me. Talk to your people. Unite, Florence, unite.
But it's amazing to me how members of the public can know what board members know in their direct communication to the superintendent's office by them participating in social media that is slanted and is biased by those who participate in it. I've had the pleasure since the last board meeting to sort of review and to be a part of the opportunity. And it troubles me that our community is divided. Our community has been set afire with untruth, the lack of information. First of all, the board chair and the superintendent sets the agenda for the board. Boards operate through policy and procedure. Unlike some of you in the community who have been receiving information in terms of how some are receiving information, boards don't function at the whim of the superintendent. As CEO, it is his responsibility to work collaboratively with all board members, regardless of whether or not he likes them or not. So, Mr. Chairman, I'm giving you some snippets of some of the aspects that have been provided to us in terms of how we should be working. I'm asking that those be shared with all board members because it's clear that some board members are only discussing things the way they want to slam it in the community. Second thing, which is a trouble for me, and I noticed tonight that we had some individuals in the audience to lead us in a prayer. But on January the 17th, I sent a quote to the board members. It says, "Father, thank you that in times of trouble, when I don't see the way out and it's dark, that you come bursting in with light and direction. I believe that you, the creator of the universe, have highly favored me and are about to propel me forward. In Jesus' name, amen." And then I got a reply back from the superintendent that said, "Please remove me from this non-business related group message. I'm not interested in your religious quotes." Well, I'm in the Bible Belt, and I've lived in South Carolina all my life. And so I just want to publicly apologize to the superintendent for including him in my non-business related group message with my religious quote. So I just want to publicly acknowledge that I'll send him in a religious quote.
just have an autoimmune condition, and I know I got to keep it fast. So first, one, I want to say I love the year-round calendar. I have 3 kids that are at Calvin Youth Academy, for which I'm on the parent advisory board with the district. However, I wish the kids would be able to graduate before Memorial Day. Like my first daughter, who's 30 years old, this month coming up, will be doing how they did back then, as well as when you all are discussing issues that have to come out to the community. One, please consider that all parents do not have access to the internet at home. All parents do not have an education, as I am a bachelor's degree MSc graduate, as well as a Wilson High School graduate, as well as a parent of 9 kids, 5 grandkids, and 1 on the way. Not me, but my daughter. And my kids are college graduates as well. And I love my board member, which is Alexis Pipkins. And this man right here. Yes. When I was homeless,
all right,
my first 4 kids, he and his wife took and kept them so that I could go to college and finish.
All right.
They did not charge me a dime for daycare.
All right.
When I graduated, they still check on me to this day. I don't know the other 2 members that were with you at FCC. I've never had a child step foot in FCC. However, I appreciate that our board member comes to our community. He lets us know what's going on. He lets us get that transparency. Any question we ask, he brings it here. We go online and look up stuff, and if it doesn't look right, we call. We have a direct cell number to call this man. We can come to the house even on Sunday and have dinner at the table. Anybody, not just me, anybody can do that. And if there was a movie that Samuel L. Jackson was in, if y'all remember, where he killed the guy that raped his child and everything, and at the very end of that movie, when McCullough, whatever the lawyer was, looked at it and he told them, close your eyes. Now see it from my eyes aspect. Look from my eyes at what my children, if they were yours, what they got to deal with on a daily basis.
That's right.
I don't agree with the bickering. I do respect the time that y'all take to serve. I'm not going to see my board member come off here. I don't care who wants anybody to step down. Mine ain't leaving. No, we'll show out, but this one got to step down. I promise you. Not in a violent way, but in a way like this, that we come together. I hate that it takes a terrorist attack for the fact that when that terrorist attack hit on 9/11, that's the first time Tamika, Rochelle, George DeWitt could walk in the store without somebody saying, may I help you, and then still follow me around. It was like, come on in, girl. They didn't care about what color I was. They didn't care where I was from. They didn't care where I've been. They don't care where I'm going. It was America that day on 9/12/2001. But I would like for Florence School District 1 to get back to that, as well as parents come together, teachers come together. And please don't strike, because in reality, I love all y'all teachers, every single one, especially the Wood Grove, I'm telling you. But they knew what they were getting paid before they took on that salary. I would love to make donations. I try my best to help teachers as much as they can. They help me with me, but please don't strike. Please don't strike. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Charles Fox.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I've heard a lot of good things tonight concerning the leadership of this district. And I've said this before when Dr. O'Malley, I guess I can call your name since your name has been called so many times tonight, even though we've been instructed not to do that, I think. But since that time, been my observation, and I have been attending board meetings, I didn't miss many, probably close to 30 years, and I've been involved. And it's been my observation that you can do things, good things, but you can do it in the wrong way. You've got to get people to buy in. And the one thing that throughout the years that I've been attending board meetings, that everybody's been saying, a lack of transparency. You know, you want to do things, it's more like an autocratic style of leadership. And in the paper concerning your evaluation, that it was stated that you need to get others involved and not having to do everything yourself. But it's just my observation that that's what has been happening. That's the way it looked to me. So, in that evaluation, and somebody had to do the evaluation. I mean, there were two board members, I understand that, didn't even agree with the satisfactory. Well, what about the other board members? Somebody had to come up with that. Now, I don't know how it's done, an evaluation is done, but somebody had to come up with that.
Just wanted.
So, we've heard a lot of praise. And nobody wants this district to soar more than I do. And when you came, you said that. That's what you're going to do. Not just the best in South Carolina, but the best in the nation. But what I have seen is a lot of missteps because you're not involved in people. Matter of fact, prior to your coming, there were, I think, 3 assistant superintendents. But apparently there's been a change. So, I'd just like to say, we need to think about this. Because there are some things that are not right in this district. And like I said, I've been attending board meetings for close to 30 years. There need to be some change. I'm talking about board members, not just the superintendent. Superintendent can't do anything without the board. It's the board